Hi there and welcome to this lecture. In this lecture, I'm going to show you how to start customizing your theme. And the first thing we are going to customize is your fonts, and later on we will be customizing the colors, everything else. Let me start from here. So I have added this theme to my store. It's the free theme we have picked together. Here I have several actions, whether to preview, whether to rename, whether to duplicate, whether to download the theme, edit the code, or edit languages. Well, concerning editing the code, this is something that you don't usually mess with unless you are doing something that you know about. So if you are a little bit familiar with the code, or if you want to need something that's related to Google Analytics or to Klaviyo or something like that, it's okay to play around, but don't mess with that unless you know what you are doing. Okay, and here I can click on Customize to go to the Editor section. Okay, let me start by previewing the theme. So you can see how my store now looks like. So now my store looks like that because I didn't actually done anything. This is the default theme as it was installed. So I'm going to close the preview and I'm going to start working on it. Okay, so I'm going to close the preview and I'm going back to my Shopify dashboard, back to my online store, back to themes. Okay, back in here. So this is the preview. Here I have these other options, but I'm not going to pick them. I'm going to start customizing the theme. So this is the theme editor, and I'm going to explain to you a little bit how this works. So here you can know where you are working. So you are working on the home page. You can choose to work on the password page, on the product page, on the collection page, on the collection list, or on the blog, or on the cart, or on the 404 page. So here you know what page you are customizing. Okay, so this is the first thing you should know. Here you can undo and you can redo. Here you can exit, and here you can choose whether you are seeing the mobile version, the desktop version, or the full screen. So here I'm seeing the mobile, here I'm seeing the desktop. Okay, and here I know that I'm changing the live version. Okay, so this is the dashboard from here. From here I have my sections, the sections that are available inside of my home page. Okay, so those sections are in here. Okay, and in here I have the header and the footer, and I have the sections in between. So this is the header. These are all my sections, and this is the footer. So header, sections, footer. Okay, this is something very important. Here I have my theme settings. If I click in here, I go to this page where I have my different settings. Let me go back for a little moment. Here I have theme actions, whether I want to edit the code, edit languages, view, or review documentations. Okay, some themes offer documentations to help you customize the theme and make it better. So if this is your case, always check the documentations wherever you want to add something that's not added by default on that theme. Okay, so getting back to theme settings, in here I can change the colors, I can change the typography, I can do things with the search, the social media, the favicon, the add to cart notification, the checkout, and the theme style. Okay, let me go first to the theme style. Here I can choose between default and between light. Some themes offer different theme styles. This one doesn't offer something that different. If I go in here to colors, I can see the colors that I can be modifying. If I go in here to typography, I can see how to change the typography, and so on. In this lecture, I'm going to start by changing the typography of your store. Actually, each brand should have a set of colors and should have some fonts. So if you are trying to look like a professional brand, you should sit down, take your time deciding what colors you should be using for your brand. You need to pick some accent color, which is some strong color, some light color at the same time, in order to have like a palette of colors that you can work with. So it's very important to precise your brand colors, and it's very important that you decide them based on your niche. So do a little bit of research, check out what are the best colors, for example, you should be using for an accessory store or for a pet store or for a cell phone store. So check out, do your research, pick your colors depending on that. Same for your fonts. Don't go with the fonts that come by default with the theme, because believe me, when you change the font, your whole store feeling will be totally different. So in here I can change the font. This is the font for the heading and the buttons, and this is the font of the body text. By heading and buttons, this is the heading and buttons, and this is the body text. Okay, so let me go in here. This is the default one, which is the Helvetica bold. I don't have anything against the Helvetica bold, however I prefer always to work a little bit on this and choose some fonts with a little bit of more like good impression. Let me say, for example, I'm going with Amiri and I'm going to pick the Amiri bold. Remember, each niche, even that your niche will be different depending on your, even your fonts will be different depending on your niche. If I'm going with a very tech niche, high tech niche, I would be picking different colors from if I'm going with a knitting store, okay? Because my audience is totally different. See, so you have to do your research to see which fonts are better for each type of audience and so on. Okay, so I'm going to select this. Here you can change the size if you wish of the heading. It takes a little bit of time to load. I'm going to keep it a little bit lower, maybe like this. Let me see how it looks. This looks good. And here I can change my body text. I'm also going to change it to Amiri, but I'm going to pick regular and I'm going to click on OK. And as you can see, all my text on the page is now different. Okay, some themes, the more professional ones, offer more options in here, so you can modify, for example, the heading, the subheading, the buttons, the body text. So the more complicated, the more professional your theme is, the more options you will be seeing in here, but it's the same principle. You can change the fonts of your text. As I said, some themes offer more options, so things would be like more flexible. However, with our theme, we only have these two options to change, and we have changed them. So this is how we change our typography. Now let's go back and let's talk a little bit about colors. Same for colors, okay? This section will be different depending on what theme you are using, but usually all themes offer you the option to change your title, okay? So your colors. So here you have the heading and link colors. Here you have the body text. Here you have the sales price. Here you have the primary buttons, the primary labels, and the secondary labels and borders. I recommend you, when you pick your brand palette, to always give your buttons your strongest color, the color that the most stand out, because you want your customers to be able to spot your color easily. So if you have, for example, brown, white, and orange in your brand, I recommend to give the orange color to your buttons, and always give all of your buttons the same color, because in this way you will always be linking the orange color to the call to action and to the decision. So it's always better to keep this consistent, and even in your emails, even if in your all marketing, you should be always sticking with your brand colors, brand palette. This is very important for branding. Okay, after that, here you can change the form fields, which means where people enter their emails or their name or things like that. Here you can add image overlays. So image overlays, it's when an image, we are using an image, the theme is adding an overlay over the whole image. It's like to lower the sharpness of the colors. You can choose the background, the color text, and the opacity. And here you have borders and lines for the pages. I'm not going to change anything from here, but you can do that. Later on, when I'm starting building my theme, I will see if I need to change some colors, but mainly this is it. Okay, so in here you change the colors and the fonts, and let's see if we have anything under search. We have enable product suggestions. I recommend you to keep it. It shows you show vendor, show price. You can do that, you can skip it, it depends on what you want. Okay, here we have social media. In this section, you can link all of your social media pages to your store. So you can put your Facebook, your Instagram, everything in here. And we go back in here. Also here you can allow people to share the post, to tweet it on Twitter, or to pin it on Pinterest. Here we have the favicon. Favicon is the small little image that shows on the tabs. Okay, let me show you. So I'm going to leave my view screen. This is the favicon. Okay, if you have a logo, your favicon should be a smallest size of your logo, or maybe the first letter of your store, or something that easy and that nice. I'm going to show you how to create a logo later on, maybe in the next lecture, so stay with me. I'm going to talk about that. So you add the favicon in here, but you have to make sure that it should be scaled down to 32 by 32. So I recommend you to keep it the simplest possible, maybe your small logo, maybe the first letter of your brand, and this is it. Here you have the add to cart notifications. It's straightforward. Here you have the checkout. It's if you want to customize the checkout, and this would be a topic for another lecture, and this is it. Okay, so this is mainly what you are going to change in the overall settings of the theme. However, in the next lecture, we are going to talk about how to create your logo and your favicon, so we can upload them to our store and we can start with actually customizing this store. So stay tuned with me and let's meet in the next lecture.